I am Geoffrey and in the 5th episode of my Lakhmid campaign from Total War Attila. Here's our dire diplomatic situation. We have no allies and no treaties except for a trade agreement with the Sassanids, but we are at least expanding. Much of Arabia is now part of our kingdom, shown here in yellow. 10 years as that hold is, with all those rebellions erupting continually. Talking of which, another rebellion has broken out in Arabia Felix. The rebels are raiding the country around Zafar, worsening further the food shortages, causing more of our men to desert our army. In the meantime, news reaches that the Sassanids have attacked the Eastern Roman Empire. Having dismantled the Mishnah house in Zafar already, now is the turn of the Torah house, with due apologies to the Jewish community of Zafar. We must end these rebellions. That will be to everyone's benefit, and until then, hopefully, heaven can wait. King Numan has issued an edict of military fervor in Arabia Felix. Troops are deserting also the armies at Dumata and Yathrib. King Numan sallies out to quash the rebellion near Zafar. The rebels were led by a man called Naravas. He led an army of Roman legionaries. How they ended up in this vast desert, only God knows. It was a small battle, easily won.
Make haste, men!
Our enemies were scattered as grains of sand blown by the desert wind. Yet no sooner had that battle ended that another rebellion broke out. The rebels were this time Arabian rebels led by a man called Alara. And once again our men vanquished the rebels. The rebel leader Alara was slain. And Himea sent again an embassy asking for peace. We countered with another offer that they become our vassals, to which they counter-offered 2,500 golden coins. In the end, the talks came to nothing. At this point, one of our generals was marching down to Zafar to free up our king's army. Himea sent an army against them, but fortunately, our inspector Wakahil at last succeeded in misdirecting the enemy, all the more surprisingly, in their own country. The kingdom of Abar Shah was no match for their enemies and is no more. Al-Karib, the governor of Zafar, has gained rank. Yet another rebellion has broken out in Arabia Felix. The rebel leader, Shebitqo, is gathering strength in the borderlands near Mazun. He has already a strong body of horse and even some catapults. He has clearly plans to besiege Zafar. King Numan ventures once again into the expanse of the desert with his army to stamp out the rebellion and restore order in the kingdom. A white lion, the king of the desert, was bellowing at a distant foe. A good sign indeed. That foe was Shebitqo, and he had 2 lions now as his enemies, for King Numan, the Lion of Arabia, was now marching against him. Here is a bird's eye view of the rebel army. Here's our army approaching from the high ground. Shebitqo's catapults were concerned, and so some of our light cavalry was sent on a special mission to outflank the enemy unobserved, approach from the rear, and from there launch a surprise attack. Our light cavalry struck as the wind, and as the wind they turned around and headed off, having killed most of the enemy crews manning the catapults. Our enemy was in dismay. They had no time to respond. They were all struck. Their catapults were now useless. The rebels would now have to fight as men against men, or other giants, the glorious warriors of King Numan, who have marched from Hira all the way to Arabia Felix, unconquered, never vanquished, ever victorious. For a while the two armies stood at a distance, exchanging shots from afar. The rebels did not dare to come too near us, and so it was up to us to send men to take on the rebels. A body of light troops, swordsmen, started running down the hill towards the enemy archers, and then the rebel cavalry charged them and killed many of our good men, and the rest fought on bravely, giving time for all our army to fall upon them, first the cavalry and then our infantry. Pummeled by flame arrows, charged by our cavalry, attacked by our spearmen. The rebels were wavering and began to flee. Another glorious victory for King Numan. His army, the desert scorpions, have the field. We are victorious once again. The rebels have been crushed. Shebitqo is dead, his army scattered. Just a few horsemen have escaped to bring the bad news to all those who dared to challenge the authority of our king, Numan, the Lion of Arabia.
My lord. We fight for you, my lord.
Thank you for watching.